Johnson heads to the bucket. Layup, Johnson, good!
All right, welcome everyone to this Monday, the week of March 25th, right here. It's Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers, and I hope that you had a great weekend and a great week coming up as we're right in the middle of March Madness, and it's a lot of fun, no question about that. All right, of course, we've got lots to talk about. This show reaches 2 million households in the New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, also parts of Livingston Parish and in Morgan City as well. So plenty of opportunities for you to watch this show. We have great sponsors on this like TJ Ribs, the Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival that'll be coming up April 12th through 14th. We'll tell you more about that and a whole lot more. TJ Ribs, of course, some delicious barbecue and a whole lot more at TJ Ribs. We've got all things to talk about. Lady Tiger basketball. We've also got LSU baseball, rather. We've got all kinds of other great things to talk about today on this Monday. Let's start with the LSU Lady Tigers, and we started this way because of this. Lady Tigers make their bid for the Sweet 16 for the second year in a row and 16th time in program history. Great. Flo J. Johnson led the team on offense with 21 points. Haley Van Lith led the team with defense with stopping the big three-pointer from Middle Tennessee State in Wheeler. They were down by 9 points in the third quarter. LSU went on a 9-0 run and took the lead for the first time since early on in the second quarter. That's pretty impressive. Middle Tennessee State, now don't forget that. They had a 20-game winning streak going on. The last time they lost was December 30th of last year, so they didn't lose a game all this year until yesterday. And they took down Louisville in the first round of the tournament in Baton Rouge. Now, LSU will take on the winner out of UCLA and Creighton. That game is today. And if they win that, they'll take on the winner out of Iowa, Colorado, West Virginia. Those three teams, only one of them will survive. Looks like LSU will play again on Saturday. And this will not be in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. It will be away. So that is something. And obviously, we're going to take a look at the lady bracket here in just a moment. But we're talking right now about the big talk off the court. Kim Mulkey had a press conference on Saturday this past weekend before her game with Middle Tennessee State and went nuts talking about Kent Babb, who is a Washington Post reporter that is going to have a story on her. Now, early reports are that it's going to come out this week. But Kim Mulkey said, I'm not playing that game. I'm not playing that game. I'm telling you right now that I will file a lawsuit against you. Now, no one knows what the story is. Now, it all started 2 years ago. Kim Mulkey was asked by Kent Babb to do an interview. Well, Kent Babb, asked, can I do an interview with you? He just got finished writing a bad story about Brian Kelly, about leaving Notre Dame. Now, I haven't had an opportunity to talk about that because we haven't had the opportunity to talk about the Brian Kelly, why he left Notre Dame while he did. Some people, and I know Kent Babb's got to know this, right? So let's tell you why he left when he did. Why Brian Kelly left Notre Dame. So he's going to know that his team's not going to make the playoffs, period. Notre Dame's not going to make the playoffs when Brian Kelly was there. Looks like that wasn't going to happen, so bam. So because of the early signing period for the NCAA, he had to leave before the signing period because if he didn't, that means all of the people that he signed for Notre Dame, he lied to them that he said he would stay, and two, they would all be eligible for transfer portals right on the spot because he left. Then also he had to leave early because of the fact he had to come to LSU and secure those recruits that said they were coming because of the university and not Coach Orgeron. I wish that Kelly had an assistant that would have explained that better, that could be able to talk about that to the national media and say that. That's the reason. It's not Brian Kelly's fault that he left early like at Notre Dame. It's because of the way they've got to set it up with the NCAA. Earlier signing period. And that's what I've always said. That's why this is a problem, and they've got to fix it. If they don't fix it, it's going to continue to happen like that. Coaches got to leave early. That's why Brian Kelly left. But going back to the story, so he slammed Brian Kelly 2 years ago in the Washington Post. Kim Mulkey didn't like it. She said, I'm not going to do anything from you. Well, for 2 years, he's been looking for a story on Kim Mulkey. And he's talked to ex-coaches. He's talked to ex-players from Kim Mulkey. And he's got something big, we hear. But Kim Mulkey ain't having it. Kim Mulkey said, if there's anything in there that is a lie about my university, about my players, or about me, I'm going to sue them. She's got the biggest defamation lawsuit attorney in the country and ready to go after him. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you a short story. Alan, you'll love this story. I was at a bar, and I'm not going to name the country singer. He's a big-time country singer. He got a little drunk, and he backed up into this lady that was at the bar, knocked her down, and her arm was hurting. I stood over her and said, it's okay. The ambulance is being called. Everything is okay. The next week, I get a phone call. Hey, you Chris Powers? And it was a guy on the other line. I said, yeah, I'm Chris Powers. My client is suing you for knocking her down and groping her while you picked her up. Excuse me. I said, okay, let me tell you how this is going to happen, brother. And it was an attorney I was on the phone with. That's why Tony Clayton, a lot of people said I should have been an attorney. I said, let me tell you how this is going to play out, bro. I had the sheriff of Tangipahoa Parish standing right here by me. I had a DEA agent standing on that side, another sheriff's officer standing on that side. If you want to take your shot at this, I didn't bump her and I didn't grope her. I didn't pick her up. The EMS picked her up. But if you want to take your shot, I will countersue your butt for slander, and I'll do it in a heartbeat. Take your best shot, because I don't go with frivolous lawsuits. And I agree with what Kim Mulkey's doing. I agree with former President Donald Trump's doing. He's suing Stephanopoulos. I'm not going to have that. If someone comes after me and says, if some lady comes after me and says I raped her, you better have damn well proof about that, because I'm coming after you. Because I'm not going to do anything like that ever in my life. I'll never rape a lady, ever. And I know that in my heart. But I've been accused of that twice. And guess what? I told him, take a shot. You'll be in court. You'll be seeing these light fixtures in a courtroom, because I'm coming after you. And I ain't playing around either. And I didn't hear another word from them. I didn't hear another word from them. Now, I've had other women come to me and say, hey, Chris, this person raped me or whatever, and there was proof and all that stuff. I told them to follow. Yeah, go after him. I believe in that. I don't believe it. When a woman says no, that means no. I don't care what it is. No. And I am big time on that. But in this situation, that was absolutely bad. So Kim Mulkey says, hey, I'm not messing around. We're going after you. We're going after you. So I hope she does. And, okay, so what could be wrong? I mean, what could Kim Mulkey have done to make this happen? I mean, Marnie, what do you think? She's hanging sheep up at night or something? Biting bats' heads off? Who cares what Kim Mulkey's done? She's been a winner. She's been nothing but a winner. She's been nothing but a good coach. Everyone loves to be around her. Now, yeah, could she be kind of dry and mean? Of course she can. But she's a good basketball coach. I've got nothing against her at all, and I think that she will beat this with no problem. But it's going to be interesting to see. Now, they say it's coming out. Pat Forty said it's coming out this week. So we're going to wait and see that. All right, let's bring up the number one women's bracket right now and bring it on the screen right now. And let's talk about the women's bracket right now for college women's basketball as we continue to go right now. It's very, very fun bracket, no question about that. All right, here it is right here. Let's take a look at the Regional 1 in Albany. South Carolina is dominating. They beat Presbyterian. They beat North Carolina pretty easy. Now they're waiting on the winner of Oklahoma and Indiana. And I think South Carolina is going to win it, but I'm going to tell you, South Carolina is not a powerful team like you think. They should have been beat in the semifinals of the SEC. They should have been beat before that. So they're winning all these games right here, but when they get down to the nitty-gritty, they better be able to win. And look, I think the coach, Staley, would have hoped to lose a game somewhere down the line, but they didn't. And LSU played them tough, even as short as LSU is. So I think South Carolina is waiting for Oklahoma, Indiana, and who knows who's going to win that. Oklahoma could be a big winner for there. Oregon State advances after they beat Nebraska, so Ole Miss and Notre Dame will play today. Notre Dame's going to be tough, and if they make it to that Elite Eight to take on South Carolina and the Lady Gamecocks, that's going to be big. On the other side of the bracket, you've got Iowa taking on West Virginia. That'll be today. Iowa should win that game, but West Virginia's been playing pretty good. West Virginia beat Princeton, so that could be a tough challenge for them. Colorado They already won. They beat Kansas State. Of course, Colorado, remember the Lady Buffaloes were the first team to beat LSU this year, the very first game. They've had a tough game, a tough team all year long. They advanced to take on the winner of Iowa and West Virginia. Down on the bottom bracket, LSU beats Middle Tennessee State. They're going to take on the winner out of UCLA and Creighton. And that probably it's going to be Saturday. It's what I'm hearing. It's going to be on Saturday. So with that being said, LSU is going to have to play better against UCLA. Now, I don't want to sing that I'm bashing LSU because that's not the case at all. I think LSU is really one player away, one good player. I don't think Poe is that player. One player away from being a team that could possibly win the national title. Look at Middle Tennessee State. They gave LSU all they could handle yesterday, and finally they pulled away in the second half. But you think you're going to do that against UCLA? You think you're going to be down by 9 points in the third quarter against UCLA or even more than that and win this game and shoot as sloppy as they did? They only shot 40-something% yesterday. They didn't play well in the first game, so they're going to have to play very good to be able to move on because now you got the big teams now. You got the number 2 seed UCLA. You had one better win than they did. And if you win that, you play Iowa. And you know Caitlin Clark will be salivating to take on LSU in a rematch. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Can LSU get to the Final Four? Well, yeah, because they played the South Carolina team that's the number 1 team in the nation. They played them pretty well. So there is a shot they can possibly get to the Final Four by beating Iowa. But Haley Van Lith is going to have to be defensively on Caitlin Clark if they play against Iowa next weekend. It's got to be really on them to be able to win that game and advance to another Final Four for the LSU Lady Tigers. I think, again, they're one player off from making this a run, I think, good. Let's look at bracket number 2, and this is in the Portland bracket right here. Texas Longhorns, the number 1 team in that area, in that Region 4 in Portland. They beat up on Alabama pretty well. They're waiting for Utah and Gonzaga, the Lady Utes and Gonzaga. Also, Tennessee and the Lady Volunteers will play today against North Carolina State. They're going to take on Stanford. Stanford beat Iowa State. So with that being said, Lady Vols are starting – I see the Lady Vols starting to kind of go up a little bit. Their program since Pat Summitt's been gone has been down, but now they're starting to come up a little bit, and they're starting to get in that Sweet 16 and then maybe Elite 8. So is it this year they're going to do it? Remember, they beat South Carolina. They had a stupid play. That player that got to the free throw line, you could tell she didn't care about those free throws. She threw them up, didn't take time to do them, and that's what cost them the game. And then they didn't even guard the player that hit the big three-point shot. They didn't even guard her. And so with that, I think Tennessee has an opportunity to maybe get to play against either Texas and maybe beat Stanford. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. On the other side, the Regional 3, Portland, we've got USC going to take on Kansas today. They will take on Baylor, another one. Baylor now starting to come up a little bit since Kim Mulkey left. Baylor's starting to rise a little bit now, and Baylor's been playing very good. They beat Kansas pretty good. They beat Virginia Tech pretty good, and they beat Marshall pretty good. So I'm going to tell you what, Baylor is really picking up. They're waiting on USC and Kansas in that top bracket. Syracuse will take on the UConn and the Lady Huskies. Remember, at the beginning of the season, it was LSU number 1, Huskies number 2. Now Huskies are starting to show why they are that good. So they will play Syracuse, and they will take on Duke. Duke, who beat Ohio State this weekend. And the Duke Lady Blue Devils are playing good basketball. But right now, UConn is playing good. Coach Gina has got that team up again, and we'll see how that turns out. So it should be a great Final Four, a great deal. And like I said, I'd love to see LSU make it to the next round. I really, really would. I don't know if they will, though. I really don't. I think they may be a player short, and I'm not bashing them. You know I love Kim Mulkey to death. You know I love the Lady Tigers to death. But that's what I'm just seeing right now, so we'll continue to watch that as time goes on. All right, that's LSU Lady Tigers. And, again, I don't care what's going to happen, what's in that Washington Post this week. I don't think Kim Mulkey's a bad person. I think she's a great person, and I think that she will have an opportunity to sue. So what the Washington Post is doing right now is getting all their ducks in a row. They got to make sure every single statement is correct. Every item that they're putting in that Washington Post is correct. Because if they're not, they're going to get sued, and I don't blame them. I'm exactly what I believe that Kim Mulkey's doing. I would do the exact same thing, and I've done it before. All right, coming up, we're talking LSU baseball. Time to start worrying yet? If not now, when? We'll talk about that. They lost another series this weekend. We'll do that when we come back. It's Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers, right here on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
We already know that TJ Ribs on Acadian I-10 is home to the world-famous baby back ribs. But did you know they're also champs in catering events and the most delicious wings in Baton Rouge? TJ Ribs wings are flavored to perfection and starts a party in your mouth. Served with homemade wing sauce and ranch dressing. TJ Ribs can also cater any event, large or small, with the MVP, the Heisman, or even if you're feeling the Natty Package. Call 225-283-1035. Come enjoy a drink at the 50-foot bar and take a picture with the Heisman Trophy at TJ Ribs, a Baton Rouge original for over 30 years on Acadian and I-10. The 52nd Annual Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival is just around the corner, and the fun begins on Saturday, March 23rd for the Julian Dufresh Strawberry Day in the Park. There'll be a wing cook-off, car show, strawberry auction, bake-off, and more. Plenty of fun for the whole family. Then, the 52nd Annual Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival runs from Friday, April 12th to Sunday, April 14th with live music, and the parade is on Saturday, April 13th. Get involved in the egg toss and the always popular strawberry eating contest. Of course, get the best strawberries in the world, grown by local farmers. The biggest festival in the South, the 52nd Annual Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival, April 12th through 14th. We'll see you there. All right, welcome back, everybody. Before we get going, Alan just told me that Jonathan is a little ill this week. Jonathan, hope you get better, get off the injury list, and get back in the ball game. But I'll say you this: Katie's a lot prettier than you are, bud. So I'm not, I don't know. Come back if you can. No, I'm picking. Come back, brother. Come back stronger than ever because you're very good at what you do. LSU baseball. The Fighting Tiger baseball team lost another SEC series this week. They won Friday 6-1, looked great. Lost Saturday 6-4 in 11 innings and looked great all throughout the game. It was a tough loss for them, and Jay Johnson said that yesterday in the press conference. And lost Sunday, the second Sunday in a row, they were 10-run ruled. 12-2 final score in 8 innings. And I said, looked great through the first 4 innings yesterday, but the Gators scored 6 in the 5th. And Jay Johnson got ejected from the ball game. And Jay said, look, y'all might think differently than I do ejection, and which apparently he's saying, I don't like getting ejected. I just don't. I'm never going to get ejected again. I'm going to be there for my baseball team. What he got upset about was the jaw jacking from the Florida pitcher to an LSU batter. And both teams got warned with that. Then another batter comes up, and the Florida pitcher's still yakking. And Jay Johnson said, why did y'all warn us if y'all not going to do anything? Throw him out of the game. They threw Jay Johnson out of the ball game. Jay Johnson went back into the locker room and watched the rest of the game on TV, did not like what he saw. From pitching to playing. Now, they didn't have one error this weekend. It's not errors. They had 0 errors this weekend. In 3 ball games, they had 0 errors. Last week, they had 6. Remember? 2 each of the 3 games. This week, they didn't have any. Coach Jay Johnson's calling it competitive character. Our competitive character is not where it needs to be. We need to have a grade up on that. What competitive character means is that what that means is that when you see that you're good, but when you see you're down, you take that athletic ability to another notch. Everybody takes it to another notch. Got to take it up. Got to get going on that, and they're not doing that. Now, White's doing it. One person can't do it. Tommy White's doing it, but everybody else has to do it as well. And again, he still don't have his lineup because he's still interchanging the outfield. They still have work in progress. This is a new team. Like it or not, I know fans they're not happy, especially when you win a championship game and several in a row like LSU has. You're not happy. You want something like that. That's how fans are. They want winning now. Jay Johnson knows that this team is capable. May not be this year, though, because, again, that competitive character, they need to get it, and they need to come within. Again, okay, they'll do great, no errors, but you need to do something really extra. You need to do something above and beyond. When Jay Johnson got ejected, they had 6 straight pop-ups in a row. 6 straight. Means they're swinging up on every one of their pitches. They're not swinging down. They're trying to go for the home run ball. You're not level swinging. You're just going up for every one of the balls going up, and that makes it a pop-up right there. Hurd starts the games great, but in the middle of the ball games, they start hitting him big time. He's now 1-3 on the season. Still a good pitcher, I think. I remember he came back from last year. He could have went to the Major League Baseball draft. He didn't. He came back, and he's 1-3 now. And, you know, like I mentioned, LSU played good on Friday. They played good most of Saturday. And, again, they played through the first 4 innings yesterday. Good. But after that, they're beginning to fall apart. They're beginning to fall apart, and something is on that. So for 14 innings straight, LSU did not look good. That starts from Saturday when they lost that game all the way to yesterday. 14 straight innings, they're not playing good baseball right now. And I'm not talking about the errors. Like I said, they're not hitting well. Remember last weekend they hit 250, 25 for 100. That's what their batting average was last weekend. It's not going to get it done. You can't bat 250 against these teams like that. Florida came into the top 5. Now you're playing the number 1 team of the nation in Fayetteville, Arkansas next weekend, or this coming weekend. Number 1 team of the nation. And you know they're going to be gunning. So LSU right now is 2-4 in SEC play. If they lose that series again, let's say they lose 2 games there, they're going to be 3-6 in SEC play. The defending national champions, and everybody had that team, like LSU women's basketball, on paper, that team looks like the best team in the country. But you can't win the game on paper. You have to win it in that field. And LSU women's basketball, we know Samaya went out with a knee injury. She's done for the year. So their bench is short. That's why LSU women are not playing well. I had somebody tell me that the other day. Well, I thought LSU women were supposed to be the best team ever in the country. Yeah, but they've lost. One player got kicked off, another player got injured, and another player got injured. So they lost too many people. And where they still are is unbelievable. For the baseball team, they're not losing people. It takes time to gel. They're all new players. One position player return on a regular basis. That's Tommy White, third base. Everybody else is brand new. The outfield, the infield, they're all new. It's going to take time to gel. Now, will this team do what they did last year? On paper, they are the best team in the country. But can they get it together in time to start winning games? And, I know they'll make the SEC tournament. I mean, they're too damn good not to. But it's going to take some time. Panic? No, they're not panicking. Jay Johnson says this team is not giving up. This team is not like, oh, we don't want to win. Yeah, whatever. No, this team's not doing that. This team wants to win. And they're going to have to start pulling it together very soon because they don't want this team to get away from them. They have a young, talented roster, but it doesn't matter if you can't put it together. Now, the fans deserve better because how would you think about it, paying tickets for yesterday's game and seeing that 12-2 final score? I knew some people who came from Alexandria to see that game. So they come from Alexandria, they pay for hotels, restaurants, tickets to the game, and they get beat by Florida 2 out of 3 at home at Alex Box Stadium, and they got beat yesterday 12-2. Wow. I mean, I would be furious. But again, they'll be fine. But how much longer are we going to say that? How much longer are we going to say, hey, you know what? We'll be fine. We're 4-10 in the SEC. We'll be fine. No, at some point you got to say that, hey, these seasons go by just like that. Trust me, I know. These seasons run by. You better get it straight and better get it straight now. So Jay Johnson says he yelled at the team after the game yesterday, and he mentioned 2 things in there. He hit on 2 things in there. I think one of them was the competitive character. I don't know what the other one was. He wouldn't tell the media because when he says that to the team, that's to the team for only the team to hear. But he got on them pretty good after yesterday's game. They will take on Southeastern on Tuesday at Alex Box Stadium. Remember, they had to come from behind and beat Southeastern in the 9th inning in Hammond, Louisiana. So now they're playing Hammond here. Southeastern here should win that game, but you never know. but they got to go to number 1 Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas, this weekend. That's going to be a big game. And in fact, that's a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday game. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which that means it's on TV. Probably all 3 games will be on TV. So that's a big matchup, and they got to be able to do it. Arkansas is going to be ranked the number 1 team here in just a few moments because they're unbelievable. So they'll be the number 1 team in the nation again. But LSU was at number 4 and one poll, number 5 another poll. They're going to be lucky to be in the top 10 this week. They're dropping. And, hopefully they'll get it together. I think they will. They'll make the NCAA tournament. They'll host a regional. They'll host a super regional probably. I think all of that will be fine. Well, I'll say host a super regional. They got to be in the top 8 to do that, but hopefully they will and get things turning around. All right, NCAA tournament, the men's bracket. We're going to be looking at that coming up as this is bigger than ever. We'll tell you what the ratings are and everything else of that nature and how much money is Vegas betting on the NCAA tournament. We'll do that when we come back right here as we're talking sports right here with me, Chris Powers, on Pelican Sports TV. The 52nd Annual Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival is just around the corner, and the fun begins on Saturday, March 23rd for the Julian Dufresh Strawberry Day in the Park. There'll be a wing cook-off, car show, strawberry auction, bake-off, and more. Plenty of fun for the whole family. Then, the 52nd Annual Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival runs from Friday, April 12th to Sunday, April 14th with live music, and the parade is on Saturday, April 13th. Get involved in the egg toss and the always popular strawberry eating contest. Of course, get the best strawberries in the world, grown by local farmers. The biggest festival in the South, the 52nd Annual Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival, April 12th through 14th. We'll see you there.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
We already know that TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10 is home to the world-famous baby back ribs. But did you know they're also champs in catering events and the most delicious wings in Baton Rouge? TJ Ribs wings are flavored to perfection and starts a party in your mouth. Served with homemade wing sauce and ranch dressing. TJ Ribs can also cater any event, large or small, with the MVP, the Heisman, or even if you're feeling the natty package. Call 225-283-1035. Come enjoy a drink at the 50-foot bar and take a picture with the Heisman Trophy at TJ Ribs, a Baton Rouge original for over 30 years on Acadian and what it's all about. Let's take a look at the men's bracket going on right now. For the men's bracket, pretty big. Let's take a look at bracket number 1. And in the East, the UConn Huskies taking on Northwestern State and Northwestern, I should say, not Northwestern State out of Natchitoches, but Northwestern. They beat them easily. So UConn advances to take on San Diego State. UConn, the number 1 seed, looks very good right now, and they look like they could win another national championship. And I mentioned as they'll play San Diego State, that ought to be a good game. Illinois playing Iowa State. Illinois is the 3rd seed. Iowa State's the number 2 seed. Illinois looks good right now. I think Illinois wins that game. I don't know if it's an upset. I don't think it is. I think Illinois is going to win that game. They've been playing very good basketball. Iowa State's been playing good, but Illinois has had more competition, and they've been beating them pretty well at that. On the other side, the Houston Cougars, number 1 again this year. They beat Texas A&M 100-95. Barely a 5-point win. Good game, no question about that. But they've got an Achilles heel. That's Calvin Sampson. Sampson is the head coach of the Houston Cougars. He was head coach of Oklahoma, and he was head coach now of Houston. They had an opportunity last year to host the NCAA Final Four in their own home city, and they blew it. They blew it. And that's how Sampson's MO is. I hate to say it. I hate to pick on the guy. He just can't win the big one to take him to the next level. Will they do it now? They're playing Duke. Duke is the number 4 seed. Duke has not been that powerful team that they normally are, of course, since Coach K's gone. But still, Duke is a powerful team. Can Houston beat them? Houston's looked good all year long. They were the number 1 team in the nation going into the tournament. So will they beat them, and will they get them into the Elite Eight? Probably so. The question is, can they beat Marquette, who's been playing very good? They'll play North Carolina State, who's really looked good. Hey, they shocked everybody by winning the ACC tournament, and they're still alive because they wouldn't have made the tournament other than that. But they got the 11th seed, and they beat Oakland the other day, 79-73. But, again, I do think that Marquette's going to win that game. And Marquette will against Houston in the Elite Eight. That ought to be huge. Let's look at the second bracket of the tournament, and all these brackets are provided. We're getting them from ESPN.com. The second bracket here, we've got North Carolina and the Tar Heels again. They look good. They had an easy victory against Michigan State. Now they play Alabama. They'll play the Crimson Tide, who beat Grand Canyon 72-61. North Carolina should win that game. Clemson beat Baylor pretty good, 72-64. So Clemson is going to play Arizona, who beat Dayton 78-68. But again, unbelievable. These brackets are just crazy. So then we got Purdue on the other side of the Midwest. They beat Utah State. Purdue looks really, really good right now. They beat them 106-67. They're going to play Gonzaga. Gonzaga's the 5th seed, and usually Gonzaga's a higher seed than what they are, or lower seed, I should say. And Gonzaga actually they beat Kansas. And they also beat Stanford as well. They beat McNeese. So Gonzaga looks good right now, and they're going to play against Purdue. I think this is where their Cinderella story comes to an end. Oregon was playing against Creighton, and Creighton won that game. Creighton men and women basketball right now in the Elite Eight, pretty impressive. But Creighton beat Oregon 86-73. So Creighton now will play Tennessee, and also the men and women's basketball for Tennessee looking very good. How about this? This is pretty impressive. Rick Barnes beats his former team. He is the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, and he beat his former team in the Texas Longhorns. And Barnes is the same exact thing that I just said about Calvin Sampson. They can't make it to that next level. They have good regular seasons, and they can't make it to the next level. And that's going to be interesting. That's why the Texas got rid of him. Now he goes to Tennessee, and every year he's been there, he's had pretty good basketball teams. This is maybe their best basketball team they've got. So they've got a good shot of beating Creighton, and I think advancing to the Elite Eight. The problem is, though, they got to take on number 1 Purdue in the Elite Eight. I'm telling you, man, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough on them. So that's what it looks like right now in these men's brackets. Could be interesting to see what happens because unbelievable. How about this? The ratings for the college basketball this year are at 10.8 million viewers on an average. 10.8 viewers. Saturday was the most watched ever on day 1 of round 2 tournament. That was on Saturday. That was the most ever that has been done. Like it or not, we talked about ratings for regular college basketball during the regular season doesn't make it really big. But when it comes down to tournament time, unbelievable. Tournaments are unbelievable. They have huge ratings, big time. Attendance is up. Everything is going crazy with that because it's exciting to see. So when you're looking at this, 10.8 million viewers it is averaging. That's pretty impressive. Saturday was the most watched ever in day 1. How many brackets you think they've got left? How many perfect brackets do you think they've got left right now in the world? 0. Not one perfect bracket left as far as the gambling goes. Not one. That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So what about Vegas? What does Vegas say about all of this? What does Vegas say about the NCAA tournament and betting? Well, NCAA betting looks like it's going to reach $2.7 billion from Vegas for the NCAA tournament. $2.7 billion. Pretty impressive. What about the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl got $23.1 billion. Pretty impressive. National Championship of College Football, no word on it. So apparently it didn't reach $2.7 billion. So college basketball and the tournament gets more than college football. Now, it did get more than the Super Bowl before, but not anymore. It looks like the Super Bowl has passed them. This year, the Super Bowl had a record breaking betting, and of course it was in Vegas. Vegas had $17 million by itself, people betting in Vegas, but worldwide it reached $23.1 billion in the Super Bowl this year. Will it be more this year for this in New Orleans? Don't know, but we do know Vegas was huge on that. So the NCAA men's bracket looks good. There's no question about that. It ought to be interesting. You can't really know who's going to win and what have you because it's just crazy to predict. That's what makes this tournament, I think, the best. I think it's so awesome. You could see a team like a Houston. Can you see the Houston Cougars winning a national championship in college football? No way. No way. Only in men's basketball or women's basketball can that happen. Same thing with the Duke Blue Devils. Same thing with Duke. You're not going to see the Duke Blue Devil football team winning a national championship, but you're going to see that happening in basketball. And Kentucky you can go too, but even though Kentucky's not winning it either. By the way, Coach Calipari, it's amazing. He is the most overhyped coach in the history of college basketball. Won one national championship. That's it. He's been to some Final Fours on all the teams he's been at, but he's had one national championship. One with Kentucky when Anthony Davis was the man there, and they won it in New Orleans in the Superdome. But the thing is, he comes out late in every game because he's the big guy. They have the bodyguards around him and stuff like that. A Kentucky fan wrote on social media, if Calipari comes back in Lexington, Kentucky, January the 6th will look like a kindergarten picnic. He wants them out. They want Calipari out, period. He is getting more than the football coach at Kentucky's getting, and he's not getting results, and he's not going to. He has an unbelievable recruiting class coming again. And he lost first round. Gone again. Coach Calipari, man. Overhyped coach. Most overhyped coach in the history of college basketball. All right, when we come back, we're going to tell you what happened, what I saw this weekend. A few things that happened this weekend that caught my eye. We'll talk about that coming up right here next as we continue to talk sports right here on Pelican Sports TV with me, Chris Powers. Back in a moment.
We already know that TJ Ribs on Acadian I-10 is home to the world-famous baby back ribs. But did you know they're also champs in catering events and the most delicious wings in Baton Rouge? TJ Ribs wings are flavored to perfection and starts a party in your mouth. Served with homemade wing sauce and ranch dressing. TJ Ribs can also cater any event, large or small, with the MVP, the Heisman, or even if you're feeling the Natty Package. Call 225-283-1035. Come enjoy a drink at the 50-foot bar and take a picture with the Heisman Trophy at TJ Ribs, a Baton Rouge original for over 30 years on Acadian and I-10. The 52nd Annual Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival is just around the corner, and the fun begins on Saturday, March 23rd for the Julian Dufresh Strawberry Day in the Park. There'll be a wing cook-off, car show, strawberry auction, bake-off, and more. Plenty of fun for the whole family. Then, the 52nd Annual Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival runs from Friday, April 12th to Sunday, April 14th with live music, and the parade is on Saturday, April 13th. Get involved in the egg toss and the always popular strawberry eating contest. Of course, get the best strawberries in the world, grown by local farmers. The biggest festival in the South, the 52nd Annual Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival, April 12th through 14th. We'll see you there.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Right here as we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, right here on Pelican Sports TV, seen 5 times a week on Pelican TV, Pelican Broadcasting, of course, on Cox Cable, Tuesdays at 11 a.m., Thursdays at 11 and 7 p.m., 11 a.m. and 7 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. We've seen over 2 million households in the New Orleans area. 89% of the New Orleans market has Cox Cable. Almost 400,000 in the Baton Rouge market has Cox Cable, and over 140,000 have it in the Lafayette area, not to mention Morgan City, and there's some in the Livingston Parish area that also have Cox Cable. over the weekend, a couple things that caught my attention. The New Orleans Pelicans continue to roll even without Brandon Ingram. Ingram hyperextended his knee against Orlando in that loss. Said to be back in 2 weeks. Now, when the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, here we go again. I'm telling you, the Pelicans at Smoothie Center is on Indian burial ground. Because every year they get injury. And I thought again that with Brandon Ingram going down, that this team again is going to fall for the playoffs. But no. Other players, McCollum stepped up in the loss to Orlando. But then, in the win against Magic, they beat the Heat. Because remember, they had a big fight here in the arena, in the New Orleans arena. The Heat and the Pelicans had a big fist fight. But luckily, that got we go to Miami and we dominate them. We beat them. McCollum had 23 points in that ball game. What about Zion Williamson in the game yesterday against the Detroit Pistons? He had 35 points in that ball game. He dominated and didn't take one 3-point shot. He had 35 points in that ball game and didn't take one 3-point shot. He dominated in that game. So the Pelicans have won 5 out of the last 6, and they've won 8 out of the last 10. They are 5th place in the West and will play a big game against Oklahoma City Thunder, who is the number 2 team in the West by only a half a game. That's a big game. We split with them. We beat them in Oklahoma, and they beat us in New Orleans. Zion Williamson didn't play in both of those games. Hopefully he will play in this game because that's a huge game. Now, New Orleans is a half a game out in the 5th place spot. This is the best their team has ever done. They have an opportunity maybe to move up to 4th or even 3rd place team if they can win against Oklahoma City Thunder or games like that. They have just 11 games left. 11 games left to the NBA season. And right now, they would be in the playoffs. That's great news there. They would be in the playoffs in the first round. They wouldn't have to play in any of the play-in tournament bracket games they have to do. They'd be in the playoffs, and hopefully they can get it good enough to where they can host a first-round playoff game. How big would that be? So the Pelicans look good, and hopefully they can win. They'll play this is a Monday that we're doing this on the 25th. Tomorrow, the 26th, they're playing against Oklahoma City Thunder at the New Orleans Arena. If you've never been to a to a Pelicans game, you got to go. It's fun. I'm telling you, it's one of the funnest atmospheres that you'll ever see. It's a lot of fun. The LSU softball loses another series again this weekend. They lost 10-9 on Friday, 3-2 on Saturday, but won yesterday 4-3. They snapped a 4-game losing skid. And this team was the number 2 team in the nation, and some saying should have been number 1. But for some reason now, they've lost their luster a little bit. They're losing SEC series, and that's something we can't have to happen. They won their first series they played this year, but now they've lost 2 in a row. And they've got some big games coming up, including this weekend. They will host number 14, Lady Aggies of Texas A&M. So the Lady Tigers have to do whatever they can, and they've got to win these games. They got to. They got to get back and going with that. They'll play a midweek game this week, and Coach Beth Gerard, listen to me. Yvette Gerard and Beth Torina, I added them together. So they got a new name there. Beth Torina definitely has got to get her team going again. She's not worried either. This team, what's happening right now, it's crazy. They're hitting the ball. But the problem is they're hitting, and they had this problem last year. They're hitting the ball to position players. They're not getting it through the gaps or, and through the first and second baseman. They're hitting it right to the shortstop, right to the second baseman, right to the third baseman, right to first base. They're not getting it past anybody, any position players, and that's what's killing them right now. They're hitting the ball. It's not they're hitting and they're popping it up or what have you, popping it up in the outfield or what have you. They just got to get more hits, just got to drop down. They got to hit them in the alleys and what have you and hopefully win because this is a senior-laden team. A senior-laden team, so they need to be in position to win. Southern University baseball swept Alcorn State Braves for their first sweep of the year. They beat them all 3 games. They're now 3-1 in the SWAC play. That was pretty big this past weekend. So that's huge. They got a lot of games to make up because of the rain and what have you. But this helps Coach Chris Crenshaw and his Jaguars now down the stretch just make the tournament. If they could just make the tournament, they'll be in good shape and see what they can do. And like I said, anything can happen in tournament play. So that's what they're hoping for. But they look, they look okay right now. They're still a young team as well because, they only had, I think it was 3 position players back, period. And this is not starters. This is just unbelievable. 6 total players came back. So this is a whole new different baseball team, and he's still learning about this baseball team, period. They're winning the midweek games against the Sunos and the Dillards and what have you, but they're not doing it. Now, they played very good against McNeese. They played good against a couple of teams like that, but they've got to get a little bit better in that. This year's going to be interesting to see what they can do. But the Jaguar baseball team, Coach Crenshaw, has got this team going. They won all 3 games against the Alcorn State Braves this weekend, and they will get ready this weekend. They've got some games against Prairie View A&M for Easter week. Now, remember, this is Easter week, so you're going to see a lot of Thursday, Friday, and Saturday games, so no games will be on Sunday. LSU baseball, as I told you with that. Also, Southern baseball will be that way as well. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday games because Easter Sunday is this coming weekend. Happy Easter to all of you, and Good Friday, too, to everybody out there. Southern bowling. Coach Barry Doyle and his team finished second for the second year in a row. They came that close. The final was 4-3. Alabama State wins that game. Southern got off to a 2-0 start. Then Alabama State came back and won the next 2. And then they were going to win it. After that, Game 6, Alabama State was about to win it. But guess what happened? Southern came back and won the 6th one, and they tied it at 3-3. And with that, Southern lost it in the 7th game. You could tell that the pressure was on the Lady Jaguar bowling team. They lost it. They won the regular season for the second year in a row, but they lost the tournament time, and that's sad for them because they worked so hard for that. The LSU gymnastics team won the SEC title in New Orleans on Saturday. They didn't win the regular season championship, but they did win the title of the Southeastern competition meet in New Orleans at the Smoothie King Arena. And congratulations. The NCAA field is being announced as we speak right now, actually. We'll find out where they're going. They have a good shot. They're number 3 team in the nation. And, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. They want New Orleans to host more gymnastic meets. They're hoping maybe one day at an NCAA tournament, maybe also other SEC tournaments. They had the lower bowl section pretty filled. The upper deck was empty. They had some fans up in the upper deck, but not a lot. But still, so I don't know. Maybe it'll grow, and maybe it'll be in New Orleans on a regular basis. That would be nice to see. But the LSU gymnastics looks great right now. Olivia Dunn won the title. She was very happy with that, showing it off everywhere. All the team was. It was great to see. So I'd love to see them get over that hump and win the NCAA tournament. But I'm going to tell you this. Oklahoma every single year in gymnastics is very, very good. Like in softball, they're very, very good in ladies sports. And they're going to be tough to beat Oklahoma or any of the other ones. So we'll see. We'll see. Cross our fingers. I'd love to see the gymnastics team finally get over the hump because they've got a good program. They've got good facilities. They're right there next to the Assembly Center on the backside, but they've got an unbelievable workout facility there. Unbelievable. Locker rooms and all that stuff there. It's just impressive to see that, so I like that out a lot. The NFL is banning drop tackling. And there's some people that are criticizing this and what have you, but let me tell you this. There's people, they're friends of mine that tell me that the NFL, they've got other people they listen to and watch that say the NFL's not strong anymore, they're weak, they're doing this and that. You know what I tell them people? Put on a helmet, shoulder pads, and go out in the field. See if it's light. See if you're not getting hit. What those people don't understand is that the NFL player, not like the Dick Butkus days and all those guys, today's NFL player are faster with a 40-yard dash, and they're also stronger. Their body mass is bigger, and it's tough. Yeah, look at golfers. They can hit the ball like never before, and that's exactly what's going on with the National Football League and all the athletes from basketball to baseball and what have you. It's because of the athlete. Today's athlete is unbelievable. That's why you never would see football players dehydrating in December or in November. You see it now because their body mass is so big and they're not hydrated enough. Now that's why they preach hydration to you. When I played the game, I'd never see a player dehydrate in November, have cramps. Are you kidding me? Because it's cold outside. But they still do it because they're not hydrated enough because their body masses are huge. Well, the NFL banning. So the horse collar tackle is banned. That is a bad thing to do. When you grab by the horse collar and you pull them down by their shoulder pads and you bring them down like that, they're going backwards and their legs are underneath them and get caught, and it breaks their legs. And it's happened so many times. It tears their AC and also their anterior cruciate ligament as well as their Achilles tendon. So now they're dropping the drop tackling. That was a new procedure that they do. So what the player does is he gets down he comes from behind and grabs the player's waist and tackles him down like that because a horse collar is 15-yard penalty. Well, this also does the same thing a horse collar does as well. And this now is being banned because it can also break the legs of players or injure them in ACLs and what have you. And look, I mean, I played the game, I know. You can see it when they pulled him down with that drop collar. You can see that with a drop tackling from the waist. It happens. So where can you tackle? My coach would always tell me, look at a guy's waistline. He can't outthink you the waistline. If that waistline's going that way, he's going that way. If it's going this way, he's going that way. Straight ahead, he's going straight ahead. But tackling on the shoulder pads, that's pretty rough. You can break a lot of tackles on the shoulder pads. So it's getting hard to where, okay, you can't hit below the waist. I mean, it's so offensive friendly. What are we going to do from now? I understand that. But, and I understand what people are saying, and I get it. I get it. You can't spear anymore. You can't lead with your head. I understand all of that. But I'm telling you, now the spearing obviously hurts the defender that's going out and spearing, and of course could hurt the offensive guy as well if you hit him head-to-head matchup. But I'm telling you guys, with this horse collar tackle and with the drop tackling, that really will mess you up big time. It will end your career quick, or it will make you out for a year. Because back when I had my ACL, you couldn't come back from that. You were done. I had my ACL surgery in 1990. No way could you play football again, especially as bad as I tore my ACL. I was done. Couldn't come back, period. Harold Carmichael tried to come back, couldn't do it. So not Harold Carmichael, Cunningham, who was the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. I was talking about Harold Carmichael this weekend for Southern University, last weekend, and talking about one of the famous alums, how we played Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, we dreaded to play Harold Carmichael and Doug Williams and what have you, because they were just unbelievable athletes. And they were from, of course, the SWAC, Doug Williams from Grambling, Harold Carmichael from Southern University. So, again, I agree with the drop tackling, and I know what you're saying. All of that stuff, you're saying, yeah, I think it's too crazy. But I agree with it 100%, and I think that they should be doing it big time. And I agree with it, like I said. Something has to be done with that. All right, Deion Sanders, another thing that I saw this weekend. Deion Sanders says, I'm going to be like the Mannings. I'm going to dictate where my son goes in the National Football League after this year. I don't think his son's got the clout that Eli Manning had, though. I really don't think he's as good a quarterback as Deion thinks he is. He's good, but I don't think he's going to be Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels good. I just don't. I just don't think he's that good. But he says, and you know what Deion's going to do? He's going to do it. So Deion's going to say that, hey, this is where my son's going. He ain't going to the Saints like Archie Manning did. He's not going to the San Diego Chargers like Eli Manning was going to go to. We're going to the New York Giants. That's going to change. So we'll see what happens with that. By the way, Deion says that this is what he said earlier. He didn't say he goes into homes, but he says, when recruiters go into homes now, the parents become an agent, not their parents anymore. The parents are not wondering if their kid's going to get a good education, blah, blah. Is he going to do good? Do you have a good football program or this and that? No, they already said how much money my son's going to make, how much money my daughter's going to make. Well, come to find out that Deion Sanders, since he's been at Jackson State, since he's been at Colorado, has not made one in-house recruiting visit ever. Not one. That doesn't surprise me. This is coming from a supposed to be Hall of Fame player who did not make tackles at all. So this doesn't surprise me at all. You're asking if Will Wade is going to be maybe switched to Louisville, or is he going to leave McNeese or what have you? Things are starting to happen now as far as other go. Headlines today from ESPN says Smith leaves Wazoo for Stanford. So other jobs are starting to get filled in. So you kind of wonder how this is going to be anytime coming up. So this will be interesting to see how things work with that if Will Wade will stay at McNeese maybe at least one more year, We know, though, it's going to be a stepping stone. And, look, I love it, Lake Charles, that he's doing well for the Cowboys. I hope he stays. But you know he's not, because there's more money to be made somewhere else. He's making $700,000 next year at McNeese State. If he stays, he's going to make over $1 million wherever he goes after that. So that's why. Also, the Los Angeles Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh has said that McCarthy is the best quarterback in the draft. I don't know. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. I'm not. It'd be interesting to see what happens. See, you can't already tell. When a college quarterback gets in here, look at the guys from the past that have done. Tom Brady. What was Tom Brady drafted? Where was Aaron Rodgers drafted? One of my favorite receivers, quarterbacks, Joe Montana. Where was he drafted? You can't really tell how a player is going to develop and what have you. McCarthy, I think, has the tools to possibly be good, but will he be the best quarterback? And I think Jaden Daniels is going to have some work to do. I think his deep balls kind of a little ducking, a little wood duck, but he's going to have to work on his long pass a little bit. Now, running the ball, he's going to be great. The problem is, number one, NFL players hit a lot harder and they're a lot faster. You have, out of 11 position players on defense in the National Football League, yet 9 of them can run the 40-yard dash in 4.5 or less. So you're not going to have that running like you've been doing. He's going to have to work on his passing game and know that the receiver in NFL is a lot faster than any in college that he's ever played at. So that ought to be a situation there. Sean Payton for the Denver Broncos says, I'm not concerned about a quarterback, even though Russell Wilson's gone. I think they're going to draft a quarterback somewhere. They're going to move up draft picks to get a quarterback somewhere. So we'll see. I mean, I'd love for him to take Jaden Daniels. I'd love it. And some people saying the Saints will take Jaden, but it's always, they said Burrow was going to go to New Orleans. That didn't happen. They're always saying that. So I think that could go to Denver. We'll see. And by the way, Denver does come to New Orleans this year too in the Superdome. I'm assuming it'll be a Sunday night game. It's either going to be a Sunday night, Monday night, or maybe even a Thursday night game. But it'll be in New Orleans. The question is, will the Saints fan boo Sean Payton? Will they boo him? Be interesting to see. So, again, I do think that we'll get somebody in the draft, though. There is word that they could make a trade for a good quarterback, a veteran quarterback to come into Denver. We don't know, but that ought to be interesting to see what happens with that. Also, Odell Beckham Jr. has been kind of linked to the Saints, that he could be a good fit in New Orleans. Word is that the Dolphins have offered him a contract. They have not heard back. McDaniel, the head coach of the Dolphins, has said, we've offered him a contract. We've not heard anything on it at this point. All right, so that's going to do it this week for Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers. We'll be back again next week. We got more of the Sweet 16. Will LSU be alive? I think they're going to play Saturday, and they'll play a Monday. So at this time next Monday, they could still be alive, and they would play Iowa on that Monday night. So we'll have to see how that works out. Plus, we'll see LSU baseball. Can they beat Arkansas, the number 1 team in the nation? Can they win that series? We'll find out. It's Easter Monday, next Monday. Have a happy Easter to all of you this week. Good Friday to you as well. And have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers.
Rocks and fires. Tommy White with it. Johnson heads to the